If you're a commercial realtor who focuses on leasing property, you might be in big trouble. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down the dynamics between a realtor who is focused specifically on commercial leases and exactly what they should be doing to see massive success even during this crazy economic time. So what's up, everybody? My name is Henry Eisenstein, and if you don't know who I am, I've been a part of over $450 million worth of real estate transactions, and I'm only 28 years old. So specifically in this video, we're going to be talking about the dynamic of being a leasing broker who focuses on working with different types of business owners when it comes to leasing out a space for their business to operate, and how you can come out on top during this economic shift. What I want to talk about specifically here, first and foremost, is if you are focused on the office space as a real estate agent who is focused on leasing space for offices, for people who are looking to open up their business and be in an office space, and that's what your brokerage focuses on, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a very tough economic cycle for you, if it hasn't already been. What I am trying to instill in those of you watching is if you are not capable of adapting or even willing to adapt and shift and be different than maybe you've been over the last 6 months, 12 months, or the past few years, you are going to be left in the dust. If you've been focusing specifically on office leasing, it is going to be a tough uphill battle when in reality, it just doesn't have to. So if you had a choice, why would you focus on the specific asset class that has the most challenges now than ever before? If we're going to take a 30,000 foot view and a step back from right now, and we were just talking about what we should be focusing 100% of our time on, why would we focus on an asset class, a type of real estate that is struggling now more than ever, versus focusing on the types of real estate, the asset classes, the types of transactions, which are still abundant and currently happening and probably will happen for the foreseeable future? It just makes sense to focus on the one that has the highest upside and the best long-term success. What I want you to think about right now is that, again, if you're a leasing broker, whether that is office or retail or industrial, it's important to pay attention to what is thriving right now and what needs to shift in your business right now. So in the next 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, you're going to be in a really healthy place in your business. What I want to talk about is if you're focused on the office or retail sector of leasing, it is important, it is imperative that you see the other sides of the coin, which is the following. Either getting into the sales aspect a little bit more than you have been. So when you're prospecting now for new business, instead of prospecting for new leases, you're prospecting for sales, or you're prospecting for specific leases that are going to have incredible upside and long-term success, which right now would be industrial leasing. So industrial leasing right now is probably going to be one of the highest, most active leasing of any asset class. Office is struggling and retail is struggling. However, industrial is thriving right now. So if I had to focus on any type of asset class when it came to the leasing space, I'd be focusing a lot of my time on the industrial space. Where on one of the past few videos, we had one of my coaching students, Derek, who broke down some awesome key strategies of exactly how you can be targeting those types of clientele. You can check out the video up here. Going forward, when it comes to an individual like yourself who might be focusing on leasing, and you're trying to figure out how you can, over the next few months or a few years, still find success in this business, it's learning to be a dynamic realtor and adaptable realtor to depending on what's going on in the economic landscape. Because if multifamily and industrial asset classes right now are on fire and they're incredibly abundant and there's a lot of upside in investing in multifamily and industrial space right now. However, the office space and retail space, there's really not a lot of upside in either one of those, currently in my marketplace at least, and I'd try to say in a large portion of the rest of the country. So if that's just the case, and fine, we can even just say office. If we're seeing all these articles all over the place about how office values are crashing, and we're seeing that the opposite is happening in the industrial world and the multifamily world, it doesn't make sense to be prospecting for office space right now. However, what I would be thinking about is, number one, if this is where not only things are abundant and plentiful and where I can make a lot of money versus this side is really struggling to even get any transactions going, number one, I would stop spending time on this space and I would start spending a lot more time over here. Number two, I'd also be trying to figure out ways that I can capitalize on the shift here. So if office space is struggling and you know different zonings have the ability to convert old office buildings into certain things, whether you can convert old office space into apartments or self-storage or a multitude of other different uses, you're going to see a lot of success where a lot of people are just going to let that office building sit vacant. There are two different ways that I would be focusing on the transition here. Stop prospecting for the things you've been prospecting for currently. And number two, taking all of that knowledge and all that education that you've taken from these spaces and focus on these niches that are absolutely knocking out of the park. If you loved office leases and you did a great job and you made several $100,000 a year in the office leasing world, then focus on the industrial leasing side. If you did a lot of office sales, then I probably wouldn't focus on office sales anymore. I would focus on industrial and multifamily sales. It's not a massive transition because there's a lot of similarities, of course. It's just being cognizant and aware that if you're focusing on an asset class that is struggling, you probably shouldn't do it anymore. Okay, because if you're getting brand new in this business and you didn't have all the connections, and you didn't have everything that you have right now, we're gonna get to the fact that you do. But if you didn't, you probably wouldn't be focusing on office because no one would tell you to ever focus on office space right now. But the fact that you have a huge network, you can leverage it to say, hey, I'm getting a lot of X type of product now, industrial. I'm getting a lot of multifamily coming across my plate right now. Who do you know who's looking for this type of investment? Even though you have those types of clientele who are possibly even looking for office space even now, it's important to realize where it's going to become more and more difficult, specifically in those huge metro areas, that office space is just gonna not be as desirable anymore as it used to be. Specifically, I mean, you see San Francisco and other areas that are similar. San Francisco and New York are struggling when it comes to office space, and this is the same thing that's occurring all over the country where you can't even sometimes give office space away. It's important to know that if you're not gonna become a dynamic realtor and have an ability to transition into several other different asset classes as the economic tides change, you're going to be left by the wayside. This is why I always stress following the trends matter. So while one asset class could be skyrocketing, your asset class could be dwindling. As those things kind of ebb and flow through the economic cycles, I like to follow trends. So if multifamily and warehouses right now are absolutely knocking it out of the park, guess what? My team and I are prospecting each and every single day. I'd also like to make sure that you realize that your brokerage matters. And if you're at a brokerage right now where you feel undercompensated, if you feel like they're too stuck in their ways and they're focused on things that probably are not going to allow them to succeed over the next few years, I'm looking to partner with you in some capacity. And it's important to know that either if it's not a good fit for us personally to work together, I want you to know that your brokerage matters. And I've worked with several realtors that have come from other brokerages where they just focus on one asset class and one asset class only, and that asset class of office or retail just really isn't doing too hot right now. However, when you can learn to ebb and flow with the economic cycles, there are some retail centers that we're selling right now. I'm not saying they're a bad investment. You just need to know how to prospect them from an investor's perspective instead of a leasing perspective. There's a lot of money that can be left on the table when it comes to people moving out in those office buildings or those retail buildings right now. And as somebody who owns retail space, I can tell you it's incredibly imperative to know how to succeed in different economic cycles. If you are watching this video and right now you are focused on a specific type of leasing product, that's your niche, and you're great at leasing office, or you've been great at leasing office, or you've been great at leasing out retail buildings, and you're not willing to shift and adapt into the new economic times, it's just going to be like the people who spent all their money on newspapers or all their money on television ads while the entire rest of the world is now watching, social media, things like TikTok, and the radio and newspapers aren't what they used to be. So you need to be able to ebb and flow with the economic times so you can always stay on top. If for whatever reason there's a new asset class that all of a sudden starts exploding, you better believe I'm going to be riding the tidal wave because there's a lot of opportunity there. And if I can get into those first few deals at a great price because I'm paying attention to where the market is going, like self-storage as an example has been hot for the last few years, we've been getting on the bandwagon like a lot of people have. We've been riding a good tidal wave with that. If you are going to be stuck in your ways, regardless on the residential world where you're hypothetically stuck with selling $200,000 first-time homes, it's the same thing as somebody who's struggling to transition out of a leasing broker's mentality. If you're a leasing broker now and you think in 20 more years you just want to be a leasing broker, it is going to be tough times for you in the future right now if it's not already super tough times for you now. And a lot of leasing brokers are going out of business. A lot of leasing brokers are no longer in the business. If you're not learning how to transition into being a powerful sales agent, which is not the only thing, you could be a powerful leasing broker in the industrial world if that's all you want to focus on. However, I'd urge you to understand, and what we talk about a lot in the coaching program, is how to be a masterful salesperson and how we can be focusing specifically on the sales side and work with awesome investors where you can even sometimes even get a part of the deal. cool stuff to be coming in the future videos. So anyways, I hope this video helps you. And if you're a struggling agent, in whether you're in the leasing side or in the sales side, and you want to make a change in your life and you are committed to making that change, make sure you go in the description down below and check out our coaching program. You can apply and see if you might be a fantastic fit. Other than that, guys, hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. If you're still watching this video, that means to me that you're a committed real estate agent and you're looking to take your life and business to the next level. I'm just curious, why have you yet to schedule your free, no obligation coaching consultation? All you have to do is simply go in the description down below, and people are telling me this call has been the most unbelievable, the most powerful call they've had in their entire career. And here's just a few of the individuals who have taken full advantage of this call. And my mission is to support as many realtors as possible, build a 6- and 7-figure net income business so that they don't have to rely on this industry anymore for their everyday income. If you're a committed realtor, which I can see like you are, all you have to simply do to take full advantage of this free coaching consultation is to go in the description down below and schedule your free call now.